making headlines on First at 9. More pages on the way. Parliament debate on bond report and serious financial crimes report to take place tomorrow.
This is the first time these 7,000 plus pages will be seen by the parliamentarians.
Another blow. A day after arrest of Perpetual Treasuries owner, Excise Department suspends production activities of its distillery company. Planning for the future. Minister Susil Premajayantha reveals new development for Colombo.
We are going to shift all administrative buildings from Colombo city to Caravela Municipal Council area.
Assuring law and order. Police arrest 2 persons at Beruwala for collecting national identity cards and polling cards.
This is an offence under this Election Act.
Injury haunts. Limited overs captain Angelo Matthews ruled out of the T20 series scheduled to be played against Bangladesh. Good evening, you're watching First at 9. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. The Colombo Fort Magistrate today ordered that the owner of Perpetual Treasuries and its CEO be further remanded until the 16th of this month. Magistrate Lanka Jaratna delivered the ruling when the duo was produced before court this morning. Owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Arjuna Aloysius, and CEO Kasun Palisena was produced before the Colombo Magistrate Court at 10:30 p.m. last night, following their arrest by the Criminal Investigations Department. Magistrate Lanka Jaratna ordered their remand until this morning, subsequent to which Aloysius and Palisena were produced before the magistrate once again. Attorneys representing the duo argued that Aloysius and Palisena should be released on bail because the charges against them that have been presented through a B report that was filed in 2017 cannot be considered under the Public Property Act. However, presenting counter-arguments, Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda said the arrests were made following a complaint lodged at the CID by Central Bank Governor Indrajit Kumaraswamy in 2016, for which the B report was filed on February 2nd this year. Subsequently, Magistrate Lanka Jaratna ordered to further remand the suspects until the 16th of this month. The magistrate also informed the attorneys representing Aloysius and Palisena that bail applications must be made on Wednesday. Meanwhile, different views were expressed regarding the arrest of the owner and CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Limited.
The public in general is disappointed about the way the government handled it or is handling it. Therefore, the government quickly took the next measure of arresting Palisena and Aloysius so that the public can be calmed thereby. Arjuna Mahendran went out of the country when all these were known and he was allowed to go out of the country by the government. When the Auditor General's report said by how much the large loss has been suffered by the government, there was nothing that should have been a barrier between that and action to be taken by the Attorney General, except that the Attorney General acted according to the advice and instructions of the Prime Minister. The Attorney General acts always according to the instructions of the government. Either the Attorney General is culpable and he should explain himself, or the government should be able to explain.
We can't directly point our finger at anyone saying they are the responsible. All we can say is that we've taken the necessary actions. We will take action not only with regard to the bond issue but also the avant-garde issue. Arjuna Aloysius has been arrested because of a scam worth 12 billion rupees, and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa had to go to the High Court for incurring losses of 12 billion rupees in the avant-garde case. Take action against Gotabaya just like how it was done with Aloysius. The government obtained 138 billion rupees from the Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi to construct 32 kilometers between Potuhara to Galagedara in the Central Expressway project. And the government is supposed to pay only 2 to 5% of an insurance amount of the loan. But they are paying 10% of the loan for insurance, which amounts to 14 billion rupees. It was the infamous Arjuna Aloysius who acted as the intermediator in this deal. And the Monetary Board, which was under Aloysius' father-in-law Arjuna Mahendran's purview, approved this deal. This is the second part of the bond scam. So we request the President to appoint a commission to look into the matter.
The parliamentary debate on reports by the Commission of Inquiry on Central Bank bond issuances, as well as the Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into serious acts of fraud, corruption, abuse of power, state resources and privileges will commence at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. It was in this backdrop that a decision was made during a party leaders' meeting today that the debate will continue in the third week of this month for 2 days.
Leaders of all political parties participated in the meeting chaired by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya this morning. Following the meeting, a few parliamentarians expressed views to media.
The parliamentary debate on the 34 reports by the Presifac as well as the bond report will commence tomorrow. The proposal for the debate will be presented by the Prime Minister on behalf of the government. Tomorrow will be a difficult day for all parties because of the election, and it was informed to the Speaker by the leaders. The TNA informed in writing that they will not be able to participate in the debate at all because of difficulties. We agreed to have a continuous debate tomorrow till 4 p.m. without allocating time even for lunch. The debate will commence from 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. A decision was made to hold the debate for another 2 days in the third week of February.
Cafe Executive Director of Cafe Keith Tenakun says they've received information that over 7,000 new pages of the report by the Commission of Inquiry on Central Bank bond issuances will be presented to Parliament before the much talked about debate tomorrow. He points out that this will put parliamentarians who are to debate on the matter at a disadvantage.
This particular report is missing with somewhere around 8,000 plus pages, and we got to know that more than 7,400 pages are to submit tomorrow to the Parliament for the debate. And this is the first time these 7,000 plus pages will be seen by the parliamentarians, and I have no idea how they could study this whole report and have a productive debate on this, as those are the most crucial, important documents related to the Treasury bond issue.
Meanwhile, the Department of Excise announced today that measures have been taken to suspend the production activities of WM Mendes and Company Limited, a company that belongs to one of the main suspects of the bond issue, Arjun Aloysius. The suspension comes in the wake of the distillery failing to pay due taxes. Accordingly, all production activities at WM Mendes and Company Distillery in Valisara has come to a standstill. Amidst the growing number of violations related to election laws, it has come to light that children have become a part of campaigning ahead of the February 10th mini-polls. Chairman of the National Child Protection Authority, Attorney at Law Marini Dilevera, says that they have received reports of political parties using children for election propaganda activities.
The CPA is concerned about reports that children are being used for election activities. NCPA urges all independent candidates and political parties to refrain from using children in their election campaigns. Involvement of children in election campaigns impedes their right to development. If anyone sees children being used in election campaigns, please call our 24-hour toll-free helpline, which is 1929.
Meanwhile, police arrested 2 persons who were found in possession of 2 national identity cards and polling cards in Diangoda Beruvala today. Police media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekara said that legal action was taken against the suspects.
Beruvala police has arrested 2 suspects whilst they were collecting identity cards and poll cards for 18,000 rupees cost. This is an offence under this Election Act. These 2 suspects have been produced to Kalutara magistrate, and 1 suspect out of them has released on bail and other suspect has remanded till 12th February this month.
President Maithripala Sirisena emphasizes that a government must work for its citizens regardless of their political allegiance, ethnic community or religious beliefs. President made the remark at a campaign rally held in Vaunia today.
The SLFP organised another campaign rally ahead of the upcoming local authorities election in Vaunia today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena.
It is wrong if the government helps people only based on their political affiliations. Certain political leaders in this area said they would work for the people only if they cast their votes for a certain party. This is one such handbill distributed by a particular political party. It says the distribution of houses, construction of roads and support to the fisheries community was all done by that party. This is a very wrong statement. I request you to cast your vote for my representatives who are contesting under the symbol of the hand. I will advise representatives of my party not to work considering political allegiances when helping the people. I will surely come to Vaunia after the 10th of February to work for this area.
Prime Minister Ranil Singh says that every citizen will receive free Wi-Fi before the end of this year. He made this remark at a UNP rally held in Putlam today.
The United National Party held a rally in Putlam today to garner support for the upcoming local authorities election. The rally was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Singh.
What benefit will you receive by casting your vote to the flower bud? Casting your vote for the flower bud means supporting Norochale, which ruined this area. Before we end this year, we promise that we will fulfill our promise of providing free Wi-Fi for every village in this country. Wi-Fi is one of the biggest issues. We were in the opposition for 10 years. Should we be in that position once again? Do you want another flower bud era? Therefore, we request that you cast your vote to the UNP on the 10th and give the party the power to govern your village. We will take care of the rest.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa claims that the government is accusing others as a strategy to conceal the unlawful activities taking place among themselves. The former head of state made these remarks speaking at a rally in Tirupane yesterday.
A rally was held to support ex-Sat Lanka Mahasabha Party, an affiliate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, contesting for the Tirupane Pradeshya Sabha under the symbol of the serpent. The rally was presided over by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
What we've built from the loans we took are clearly seen from the very north of the country to the south. But they, however, took twice than what I took. But for some reason, nothing has been done with those loans. Since they stole the money in the central bank, they appointed a commission to investigate, and some individuals will possibly be imprisoned for a few days. I didn't read the report yet, but the ones who have read it told me that I was accused of abetting since I appointed a chairman. So what about President Maithripala Sirisena, who appointed many of those who are involved in the central bank treasury bond scam? So who is responsible for that?
General Secretary of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, Tilvin Silva, says that the so-called implementation of the law against thieves is only a display to gain votes for the upcoming local authorities election. Speaking at a public gathering in Akmimana yesterday, he further stated that the same process will be ignored when the election ends.
A public gathering organised by the Janata Vimukti Peramuna geared towards the upcoming local authorities election was held in Akmimana yesterday.
Who in our country can end corruption and stealing? Can the UNP do it? No, they cannot. Can the SLFP or Mahinda do it? They can't. The JVP is the only party that is not accused of stealing or corruption. UNP voted Maithripala Sirisena to become the president and to build a government of good governance. It has been 3 years now. Have they got hold of the thieves? Instead, the UNP allied with the thieves and established a government. They looted the central bank, and it has been proven today. Ravi Karunayaka had to resign from his position and Arjun Aloysius was taken in for questioning. On the verge of an election, many show off that they are catching thieves. Even the president is doing the same. This will last only until the election. After the election, they will cover it up.
Let's now take a look at some of the views expressed by politicians ahead of the looming local authorities election.
The bond report has revealed a team of full-suit thieves. Serious Financial Crimes Commission has revealed another team. That is why we are telling the President to appoint a new Prime Minister and run the administration under a caretaker government. Those accused in the bond scam have been arrested. This government does not consider friendships. We challenge all who criticize about the bond scam to first try and take action on corruption against a single person. Aloysius has been arrested as the election is nearing. As soon as the election is over, he will be released saying there is no case to proceed. That is good governance. If there is an award ceremony, we won't be able to select the best actor these days. Everyone performs well. Former President Rajapaksa, who didn't even attend the budget sessions, speaks about the price of coconut. The President, who maintains silence in the cabinet, is the hero today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is also the same. They ask you to vote for them to develop your village. Vote for them and see the consequences.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
The government is planning to develop the Caravela Municipal area as the country's administrative centre. An event to unveil the proposal was held at Maithripala in Colombo today.
The plan to develop Caravela Municipal Council as the administrative centre of Sri Lanka was held under the auspices of Minister of Western Development and Megapolis Partali Champika Ranawaka. Speaking to First at 9, Minister of Science, Technology and Research Susil Premajantha said that under this plan, various development projects will take place in Caravela, Malabe, Aturagiriya and its suburbs.
So the plan is within next few years, we are going to shift all administrative buildings from Colombo City to Caravela Municipal Council area. So therefore it is planned to develop Caravela, Malabe, Aturagiriya and the suburbs to match the demand with the development. For an example, then there will be too many projects, public and private, to be implemented within the next couple of years. To cater to all these need electricity, water supply and other infrastructure facilities. So therefore we have to widen some roads and develop some roads. Apart from that, that's another main feature is to introduce the monorail system starting from Malabe, then extended to Colombo City.
Let's take a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
The final rites of Venerable Professor Bellanvilla Vimalaratana Thera of the Bellanvilla Raja Mahavihara will be conducted in full state honours this Thursday at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University grounds at 3 p.m. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid their respects to the late Thera at the Bellanvilla Raja Mahavihara today. In other local news, the Castlereagh Reservoir in Hatton is at a risk of pollution as a hotel in the area is currently using the location as a site to dump its garbage. According to the reporter, officials have not been informed about the issue. 4 persons, which was inclusive of 2 police officers, were arrested for transporting 1,000 milligrams of heroin in a 3-wheeler. They were caught by the Katukastura police in the Aladeniya area. At least 4 train commuters were killed at Lunava in Angulana this evening when a lorry crashed into an express train bound for Galle. The commuters had been travelling on the footboard of the train at the time of the accident. A vehicle fell off a 80-foot precipice opposite the Mariamman Hindu temple in Telbaddawatta, Badulla. The driver of the vehicle was killed in the incident. 7 suspects were caught in possession of 12 units of Hakkapatas and remains of 3 tortoises by the Sungavila wildlife officers in Polonnaruwa.
Oil prices today extended declines from the end of last week amid a wider market sell-off and a stronger dollar, with Brent crude falling to its lowest in nearly a month.
Brent was down 57 cents or 0.8% at $68.01 a barrel after falling 1.5% last Friday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude declined 47 cents to $64.98 a barrel after dropping 0.5% in the previous session. Meanwhile, US stock futures fell today in Asian trade as Wall Street added to the large losses set last week. Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures pulled back more than 100 points and briefly fell more than 250 points, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures declined 6.25 points and 8.25 points respectively. European stocks suffered a sharp sell-off at the open, with Europe stock 600 sinking 1.1% in line with Eurozone stocks. The pan-European index hit a 2-month low in early dealing, having given back all the gains it made in the exuberant New Year rally. Meanwhile, Asian markets were covered in a sea of red, with every single bourse but one stumbling. China's Shanghai Composite Index gave up early losses to be up 0.5%. Japan's Nikkei sank 2.2%, while Australia's main index lost 1.6% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index declined 1.4%.
Banks in Britain and the United States have banned the use of credit cards to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, fearing a plunge in their value will leave customers unable to repay their debts. Lloyd Banking Group, Britain's biggest lender, said yesterday it would ban its credit card customers from buying cryptocurrencies, following the lead of US banking giants JP Morgan Chase and Co. and Citigroup. The move is aimed at protecting customers from running up huge debts from buying virtual currencies on credit if their value were to plummet. Concerns have risen among credit card providers because their customers have increasingly been using credit cards to fund accounts on online exchanges, which are then used to purchase digital currencies. News just in. Maldives President Abdullah Yameen declared a 15-day state of emergency in the country today, a critical turn of events amid a deepening political crisis in the island nation. The move, announced by the president's close aide Azima Shukroon on live television, suspends all basic rights and gives sweeping powers to security forces to arrest and detain suspects. Early in the day, President Yameen said the Supreme Court had overstepped its authority in ordering the release of the imprisoned opposition leaders. The surprise judicial ruling last week had led to an increasingly tense standoff between President Yameen Abdul Gayoom and the Supreme Court, with protests spilling into the streets of the capital Malé and soldiers in riot gear deployed to the parliament building to stop lawmakers from meeting. Yameen, who has run the country with an iron hand since 2013, has been facing mounting pressure at home and from the United States and India to release former President Mohammad Nasheed from a 13-year jail sentence and free 8 other political opponents from prison. The Maldives has experienced political unrest since Nasheed, the island's first democratically elected leader, was forced to quit amid a mutiny by police in 2012.
The opposition says it will continue protests as long as politicians remain in prison. For the president has told Al Jazeera.
Let's now take a look at some of the emerging stories from across the world.
Heavy snowfall in Moscow yesterday left 1 person dead and 5 others injured, caused traffic jams and delayed dozens of flights. Russian news agencies quoted the Federal Meteorological Agency saying that the snowfall has turned out to be one of the heaviest in 60 years, with the height of snowbanks reaching 43 centimeters. South African President Jacob Zuma is undergoing pressure to step down following talks with senior members of his ANC party yesterday. Details of the talks were not revealed, but party leaders are to hold an emergency meeting later today. Zuma, who faces corruption allegations, was replaced as ANC leader by Cyril Ramaphosa in December. A grand elephant race and a man flying in a power glider over thousands of bemused spectators ceremoniously ended the annual rural sports activities. On the final day, young and old men and women performed acrobatics on moving motorbikes, stuntmen pulled motorcycles with their teeth, lifted 60-kilo heavy plows with their mouths, and had cars running over their bodies.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Injuries continue to trouble the Sri Lankan cricket team as its limited overs captain Angelo Matthews is ruled out of the two-match T20 series scheduled to be played against Bangladesh. Shortly after being reappointed as the limited overs captain, Matthews had to pull out of the Test series against Bangladesh due to injury. The Bangladesh tour is the third consecutive overseas tour Matthews has been compelled to forfeit due to injury. Over the weekend, CHNFC faced Sri Lanka Police and CRNFC took on the Air Force. CHNFC registered a hard-fought victory over Sri Lanka Police 50-38 at the racecourse Colombo. And in the encounter between CRNFC and Air Force, CRNFC overpowered Air Force to win the match by 10 points.
Kicking off the 13th week of the Rugby League, Sri Lanka Police opened up the scoreline with a try, displaying strong competition from the beginning. With both the sides running for points, the first half left the two teams at 24 all. Despite continuous attacks by Sri Lanka Police, CHNFC carried their momentum forward and went on to score an additional 26 points in the second half, extending their total to 50. Sri Lanka Police extended their total to 38, scoring only 14 points in the second half, in the end to concede a loss to CHNFC. The visiting Air Force team took control of the game earlier as they activated the scoreboard with a drop goal. CRNFC, however, did not back off as they scored slowly and steadily, ending the first half in their favour. Despite constant pressure from the Air Force, CRNFC went on to score 27 points, which included 4 tries, 2 conversions and a drop goal. Air Force could only score 17 in the second half, which included 2 tries, 2 conversions and a drop goal.
Let's now cross over to Shinla Fernando at the other Derana Weather Centre for your forecast first evening edition.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Well, tomorrow will relatively be a warmer day with temperatures ranging between 21 and 30 degrees Celsius, with the lowest temperatures expected in the Central Hills. Well, looking at the map, a low pressure zone is set to prevail across the island. Well, tomorrow shows no signs of a sunny weather yet again, as many areas across the island, including Jaffna, Manaputlam, Gaul, Mathura, Colombo and Hambantota as well as Negombo will experience showers and thundershower activity. That's all we have from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next is your City by City forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you to the Dambulla Cave Temple, also known as the Rangiri Dambulla Vihara. It is considered a World Heritage Site in Sri Lanka, situated in the central part of the country. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.